Hey my glam girls, welcome back to my channel. It's Chelsea, and today we've got a little Char girl for us today. So I picked up both of the new Flawless Filter Luxury palettes. So we have Star Aura here, and we also have Diva Lights right here. I also picked up a new shade in her Hollywood Flawless Filter. So she came out with a few more shades. I want to say like 4 or 6 more shades of her Hollywood Flawless Filter. So I picked up one of the newer shades. And so I'll be showing you a comparison of the newer shade that I have in comparison to the older shade that I already had. And that's all we're gonna be doing today. But before we get into this video, I have to tell y'all thank you. Thank you guys for being the best glam girls on the planet. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to spend some time with me. If this is your first time here, welcome. Thank you so much for clicking on my video and taking some time out of your day to spend it with me. If this is your first time here, I'd love to invite you to the Glam Girl Squad family by hitting the subscribe button. I'd love to have you here. And if you are a returning subscriber, well, thank you so much for deciding to come back and support my channel. With all of your likes and your comments, they really do truly mean a lot to me. So let's get into this video. The outfit of the day is pretty simple and laid back. I have a sweater here from Walmart. This is from the Time and True brand. Love this brand, and I'm quickly falling in love with it with all of their great sweaters. This sweater retails for about $17. Really enjoy the stitching of the sweater. It's not uncomfortable. It's not itchy on the skin. I don't feel the need to have to wear like a tank top underneath it because it is a little itchy. I like that it covers my bum, and this is in a size medium. You guys have already seen this sweater in the cream color, and I have that in a large, so I really liked that sweater. Just wanted it in a more tailored fit, so I went back and got this tannish one in the medium size, and I like this one a lot better. It's a lot more tailored. And then my leggings are from Walmart as well. They came in a 2-pack, and the 2-pack was $11. So these are the gray pair. The leggings are not maternity leggings, they're regular high-waisted leggings. I really, really enjoy them. They're very comfortable. They're obviously stretchy, but they're not like, you know, cheap feeling where you don't feel like they're gonna come all the way up. They're also not see-through at all, and just really great quality, especially for the price. So first, let's start off with the Hollywood Flawless Filter. You all know, if you've been here for any length of time, I love the Hollywood Flawless Filter. I always say it's magic in a bottle because that's exactly what it is. It leaves such a dewy, glossy, just such a hydrated look on the skin. And I love that it does offer a little bit of coverage. So if you wanted to just apply this to the face and dull down your redness, you can do that. Or you can use it as a liquid highlighter. You could use it as a illuminating primer. You can use it for pretty much anything you want on the skin, and it does such a phenomenal job however you do decide to use it. Now it does come in 12 shades. I'm very glad that they've expanded their shade range, so they now offer 12 shades of this Hollywood Flawless Filter. And on Sephora's website, as well as Charlotte's website, it does come also in mini sizes. So there are 4 shades in the mini size. The larger size retails for $44, and we get a total of 1 fluid ounce or 30 milliliters of product. And then the mini sizes retail for $15, and we get 0.18 ounces of product or 5.5 milliliters of product. So in terms of cost per gram or cost per milliliter, it is cheaper to buy the larger size versus the smaller size, but I would also say that it's not a waste of money, in my opinion, to buy the smaller size, especially if you've never tried it and you kind of want to just see how you like it. Because I've had this particular bottle since January of 19, and as you can see, I still have like about this much of product left in the container, and I have used this pretty regularly. Not as much this year as I did last year, but like this product get used. So I don't feel like you're gonna fly through the mini size so fast that it would, you know, not benefit you, and maybe saving a few extra dollars if you want to just, you know, try it out. So let's do some swatch comparisons of it. I am actually doing a foundation review comparison of 2 powder foundations. I have the Makeup Forever powder foundation on this side and the Fenty powder foundation on this side. So this video will go up tomorrow if you are watching this Tuesday evening. So I don't want to apply this on the face because I don't want to disrupt the powder foundation. But I will do swatch comparisons because, you know, if you're interested in one of the newer shades, this could still be a little helpful. So these are both shades of the Hollywood Flawless Filter swatched on my skin. So this is shade 5.5, which is described as a neutral caramel for tan skin tones. And this is the shade 6, which is described as warm amber for deep skin tones. I definitely feel like the shade 5.5 will be a really nice shade match for my skin, but when blended into the skin, shade 6 works just as fine. So it doesn't look like it's, you know, too warm for my skin once blended out on the face. So I think if you're around my skin complexion, you could go with either one. It just depends on, I would say, if you lean more to having a warmer complexion compared to a more neutral one, because obviously one is gonna lean warmer than the other. But I think overall, both will work really fine on the skin because the product overall leaves just this beautiful dewy look on the skin, and it doesn't really leave like a pigmented look on the skin, if that makes sense. So I'm happy to have both. I'll definitely show both on the skin in another video. But like I said, I don't want to put them both on the skin now just as to not mess up the foundation that I'm wearing. However, let's get into these eyeshadow palettes. So this is the Star Aura palette. It retails for $53 and it is sold at Sephora and also at Charlotte Tilbury. I ordered these both from the Charlotte Tilbury website the day that they launched. And this is the Diva Lights eyeshadow palette, also retailing $53. Both of them are going to be under the line of the Hollywood Flawless Filter, and they are both limited edition. So there are her traditional 4-step eyeshadow quads with a soft focus, non-creasing formula and pigmented shades to make your eyes look bigger and brighter. So this particular eyeshadow is what Charlotte calls a breakthrough eyeshadow because the texture combines the illuminating rich finish of a Charlotte Tilbury pop shade with the blendability of a creamy powder-based eyeshadow. So we're looking at a new formula here. The eyeshadow is finely milled and blended with oils and waxes for an easy-to-use application and long-lasting pigment. In terms of the oil that is used in both of these quads, the only oil that I can see based on the ingredients that I'm looking at is squalene oil. So just wanted to point that out if that is going to be bothersome to you. Okay, so now we're going to swatch both of the palettes. So starting with Star Aura, the Prime shade, which is described as a soft glitter pink champagne. Enhanced shade is a metallic blush pink. Smoke shade is a metallic mink brown, and the defined shade is a metallic antique brown. Diva Lights Prime shade is described as a rose champagne. The enhanced shade is described as a soft glitter rustic rose. The smoke shade is a rich taupe, and the defined shade is a matte black. So we only have one matte shade out of both of the palettes. The rest of the shades in both of the palettes are going to either be shimmery shades or metallic shades. She does say that her metallic shades can be used wet for a very good intensity of color, or you can use them dry for a lighter type of look on the eye. Looking at the other luxury quads that I do have, I wanted to see if we had any comparisons color-wise with the new Hollywood Flawless Filter luxury quads to some of her older quads. Formula-wise, we're looking at a new formula in these new Hollywood Flawless Filter luxury eyeshadow palettes. But color-wise, I wanted to see if we have some similarities. So this is the Golden Goddess palette, and looking at them both, they do look a little similar in terms of their color story, but I think Star Aura definitely is different in its color story than the Golden Goddess. So I don't see any similarities there. The only shade that I will swatch will be the smoke shade from Golden Goddess, and we can compare it to the defined shade from Star Aura. So this is the smoke shade from Golden Goddess. This is the defined shade from Star Aura. And they definitely are two different types of shades. The Golden Goddess smoke shade appears more warm versus the defined shade looks a little more taupey in color to the smoke shade from the Golden Goddess. I'm now looking at the Pillow Talk Pops of Luxury Quad and also, once again, Star Aura. And this shade right here looks a little similar to this shade. So once again, just swatching shades because formula is going to be different. Add another layer of the pop shade. And the pop shade, definitely in color, looks more like the prime shade from Star Aura. Texture-wise, they look more similar too. Once again, going back to the definition of the formulation of these quads, having the combination of the pop shade formula with the creamy blendability formula. But color-wise, the pop shade is definitely more transparent than both of the shades in the Star Aura palette. Once again, the Pillow Talk Luxury Palette of Pops compared to the Diva Light. I want to compare this shade to this shade of the quad. And we'll do a swatch. And the this shade from the Palette of Pops obviously is going to be more transparent, less opaque than this one. Color-wise, though, they are a little similar in color, but formula-wise, definitely different to where, to me, I don't feel like I have any repeat shades. So looking at all of them, I don't see enough like similarity in palettes to say, yes, you know, you probably have all of these shades if you have some of her other luxury quads. Granted, I don't have all of them, but just from the ones that I do have, I do not feel like there's a repeat with these two new quads in comparison to the quads that I do own. Okay, so I'm gonna pull you in a little closer and we will put both of these quads on the eyes. Okay, so starting off with Star Aura, because this particular palette does not have any matte shades, I'm gonna go in with my eye kohl from Wayne Goss. This is in the shade Rich Hazel. It is the matte brown shade. We're gonna start off using this as a primer, and then I'm also gonna start off giving this eye look a little bit of shape with this eye kohl. I saw this technique from Dear Dominica. Oh, y'all, her eyeshadow looks are just flawless. So I am not going to do her justice, but I am going to do the best reiteration that I can. Then going in with my Sonia G soft shader brush, and I'm just going to blend this across the lid and into the crease, and then taking the brush on its side, I'm going to softly blend the edges up into the transition area of the eyes. Now going in with my Sonia G Blender Pro brush, and we're just gonna blend out the edges of this eye kohl. And going in with a Sonia G flat definer and just blending out that wing a little bit. Let's go in with this Define shade from the Star Aura. Going back in with the soft shader brush from Sonia G and just flipping it on the other side. And we're gonna blend this over the majority of this eye kohl, not all the way, but just blending it into the eye kohl. I do see that adding a few layers to the shade, we are able to build up the color of this particular shade. Going in with my Chikuhodo shader brush with this enhanced shade right here. And let's put that right along here. And blending that into the Define shade on the eye. Going in with my Sonia G flat definer, and let's go in with the Smoke shade right here and putting the product on the tip of the brush, and let's apply it right here toward the inner corner of the eye. I'm kind of tickled at the term smoke. This is not a smoke shade at all, in my opinion. I feel like for me, the Define shade is more of like a smoke shade. And then we'll go in with this Define shade right here. Same brush, just wiped it off. And we're gonna use that to smoke out the rest of the lower lash line. Now going with the prime shade, I want to take this prime shade on my finger and just apply it right here in the middle of the lid, right where both of these shades meet. That's pretty. That's pretty. Going in with my Rephr 03 brush and taking the same prime shade, and we'll use that for the inner corner. So since the Diva Lights Quad does have a matte shade, I am gonna go in with the Define shade and do sort of a similar look with this. So going in with my Sonia G flat definer, I'm going to concentrate that on the outer area of the eye. Kind of wing that out like we did with the eye kohl, and begin to blend it into the crease. Wiping off my Sonia G Blender Pro and blending that shade up into the transition area. Wiping off the flat definer brush, let's go in with the smoke shade right here. And let's apply this right in the middle of the eye, blending it into the matte black shade, the Define shade. Not covering up the black shade completely, but blending it into the matte black shade. And building up the color intensity by adding a few layers here. Wiping off my Chikuhodo brush and going in with the enhanced shade. Apply this right here. Going in with my Chikuhodo angled brush from the Orb set. Going back in with the black matte shade and defining that lower lash line. And then going in with my BK Beauty 207 brush and the smoke shade right here. We're going to use that to blend out the black color. So starting with the inner corner of the eye and then blending out the matte color. Going back in with my Rephr 03 brush, just wiped it off, and now going in with the prime shade right here. And we're gonna use that for the inner corner. And let's just do the same thing. Taking that same prime shade and let's apply it right here in the middle of the eye. Okay, so I'm going to finish off my makeup, finish off the eyes, and then I'll come back and share with you my final thoughts on these palettes. So okay guys, we are back. I have on all of my makeup and eyes are done. Just to tell you what's on my face, I have on the Instant Look in a palette in the shade, it is Gorgeous Glowing Beauty. It is currently still out of stock, I'm so sorry. But I have on the bronzer, both the blushes and the highlight from this palette. And then on my lips, I have the Pillow Talks Diamond Glossy Starlit Sparkling Lip Looks. So I got this for free when I placed my order for the recent palettes. It is so pretty. And texture-wise, there's like glitter speckles in the lipstick, but it doesn't feel too gritty on the lips. So I am really enjoying this lip color. Final thoughts on these two palettes. First of all, I never even showed you the outer packaging of it. So cute. I love when Charlotte does a theme, how she likes to put pretty packaging to it. So this is the outer packaging of the eyeshadow palettes, which I think is gorgeous. But okay, final thoughts on the palettes. I think these palettes are nice. I do. I think they're really nice. So starting with Star Aura, I think this one is definitely going to be a little more limited to people who have lighter complexions. We look here and the Define shade is the deepest shade in the palette, which is the shade that I used right here. But it is also on top of a dark brown eye kohl. So I feel like if you are around my shade, maybe a shade deeper, this palette will work for you. But I don't think if you are of like a deep, rich complexion, this would be the best palette for you, simply because all of the other shades are lighter. And even though they're not icy light, you might not be as satisfied with your overall look just using this palette alone. I think for me, I will use this palette in conjunction with something else. So for instance, going in with an eye kohl or going in with some other matte eyeshadows, I feel like this palette does overall then bring a really nice, cohesive, simple look. I do like the formulation of this palette, but it is not going to be my favorite formulation, simply because I do like for my eyeshadows to pack a little bit more of a punch. And to me, these shadows definitely pull a little softer. Now, yes, if I would have wet my brush, I'm sure I could have definitely gotten more intensity with the color of the eyeshadows. But typically when I do my eye looks, I don't wet my brush. I don't use my setting spray to intensify the color. So I tend to like for my eyeshadows to come out of the gate with just a little bit more punch. But I am glad that I can build these colors up. So I don't mind, you know, going in with 2, maybe 3 quick layers to build up the color intensity. So I think this one is nice. I think the formula is really pretty. I don't think it's a dead miss, and I don't think it's, you know, a bad formula at all. But I just think it's not going to be one that everyone is going to want to use based on your complexion, and then also based on how intense you like for your eyeshadows to look. To me, this palette is going to be great for someone who likes those softer looks, who is of a little bit of a lighter complexion, because then you'll be able to see all of the shades on your eyes with the depthness that they are reflecting in the pan. But I do think this one is pretty, and I would use this palette in conjunction with another palette. Now, Diva Light, I do like Diva Lights. I like Diva Lights better than Star Aura, simply because the shades are deeper. So I feel like we do have a little bit more depth with this eye look. I feel like all 4 shades do show up on my eye, and I feel like if you have deeper skin tones, this would be a palette that you could definitely use, get some pretty looks from, and feel like you're getting, you know, your money's worth out of the quad, because you can use this one eyeshadow palette and get a full cohesive look. So being that there's a matte black in here, you can apply it, smoke it out, and then build on top of that matte color, especially if you're someone like me who likes to go in with a matte base to start their eyeshadow look and build upon it. All of the other shades, including this lighter shade, this prime shade right here, I feel like have enough depth and warmth to them that they're not going to show up icy on deeper complexions. And so it will work for deeper complexions. It will also work for lighter complexions. So if you are of a lighter skin tone or even a fair skin tone, I do think you'll still get some really good use out of this palette, because going with the matte shade with a lighter hand, or you might use the smoke shade as your depth color. You might use the black shade as like a liner color. And then of course, these 2 top shades right here are gonna work across any skin complexion. So to me, I feel like Diva Light brings more of the diversity across complexions. And I think also formula wise, it brings more diversity, because we do get this matte black in here, versus the Star Aura palette is going to be a little more selective as to who it's going to work for, and formula wise, who might like this formula better. Although we have the same formula in the Diva Light eyeshadow palette, because we have this matte black, it makes this palette a little bit more diversified. Now, the new formula I think is really pretty, and I like the combination of the pop shade with the blendability of the shimmers. I do think they all blended really well, and I think that they glided on the lid really nicely. Both eyeshadow palettes did. So formula wise, I think the formula is really nice. It's very easy to work with. I just think it just depends on, like I said, preferences on how much you like your eyeshadows to pop, and you know, what color story you think you would like best. I think this formula is nice. And I wouldn't be disappointed if she came out with another quad with this formula in like the prime and the enhanced shade. But I would prefer that my smoke and my defined shades be either matte color or be more of like that pop and really intense type of shimmer pop shade formula that she has come out with before, just so that we can have a little bit more like Zaza zoom on the eyes. So those are my recommendations in terms of what I would like to see in the future, but I wouldn't dare say like, Charlotte, don't come back out with this formula again, because I think it's nice. I'm glad that she came out with 2 palettes in this particular formula with 2 different color stories, because I feel like at least we have 2 different palettes to choose from that, but with both of them together, we're hitting a good spectrum of shade ranges. I think if she would have just came out with this one, we would have definitely seen and felt the lack of diversity with the palette. Versus with this one, it's like, okay, great. I can definitely see more complexions using this and liking this one. So overall, I like both of these palettes. I think based on, you know, the feedback that I've given you all, you can definitely make the choice as to if you feel either palette would work best for you. And then I'm very happy that I picked up the new shade of the Hollywood Flawless Filter. I can't wait to actually use it on my face and show you all what they both look like on the skin. So happy to have these new Charlotte Tilbury products. Let me know your thoughts down below as to how you think both quads look on my eyes. Tell me if you're interested in them and what you think of this new formula. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And that is it, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I really can't wait to see you in my very next video. Bye, guys.